There we are. Music montage.
Billy Phil, good to hear it again.
Yes.
Oh, how about 1980?
Oh, so close.
Yes.
81.
Oh, come on.
Very good, though. If you don't nail it, you're always very close.
Couldn't you stretch it to 1980, maybe?
Well, some of those would have been released in 1980.
Okay.
But no prize.
Good songs.
Congratulations to the following people in order. They were the first to text in. Ashley of East Doncaster, very quick, well done. Andrew of Dandenong, who just got the mystery voice right. He was second by a fraction of a second.
Okay.
And is a previous winner. Richard of Bendigo, Chris of Adelaide, Anna of Baronia, Helen of Bairnsdale, John, Woody's dad, he got it as well. Steve of Pascoe Vale, Scully Fonseca, Agent Scully, who gets it every week without fail.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think with her mum's help. And Valerie of Mornington were the first 10 to get it correct.
I mean, what's to stop people Googling it and cheating?
Well, they can, but they've got to be among the first 10 to get it correct.
So you have to move fast.
It's a small window, yes, because we've had tonight 47 text messages.
Oh,
so,
that's good.
Yeah.
47 listeners. That's very promising, isn't it? Now, Matthew Fulton is online. Matthew wants to ask, I think, a small favour. Good evening to you, Matthew.
Hello, guys. How are you?
G'day,
great.
Matthew. We're good.
Simon's here too, of course.
Yes, of course. Now, I do a podcast, I should say, which is all about the Late Show, the D generation, the one that was on ABC TV from 1992 to 93.
Yeah, The Late Show, yes.
Legendary.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, you were on it, Phil, as a celebrity stooge.
Yeah, Pete Smith and I were on The Late Show quite frequently, Matthew, as you'll know.
Yes, and there was one episode that we've recently done, and you were part of the muck raking tour with Mick Malloy and Jason Stevens.
That's right.
Yes,
And I think
with Granny Davis.
Yeah, Granny was on board. And I think we stopped at Molly Meldrum's house.
Yes, that is correct. Now, there was a bit where the car was going by and there was a cheeky fruit bowl being pressed against the window.
Yes, and I've explained to you that my body double took part in that. I'd long left the set by then. And can I tell you who the culprit was?
Please do.
Mick Malloy, all right?
They were the glutes of Mick Malloy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, Matthew, I plead not guilty.
Now, Matthew, tell us about the podcast and how it came about, because the Late Show was so popular in its day and only ran for, was it 3 years, The Late Show, or 2 years?
It ran for 2 years, and it is run by myself, and I have a couple of co-hosts as well. And it started during the beginning of the pandemic, and we're spread all over Australia. So I'm based in Queensland, and then I have my co-hosts in New South Wales, Melbourne, as well as Adelaide, and one in the UK. And we get together and we review our own bootleg tapes of The Late Show when it was on the ABC. And it was just, and as we're watching it, it's a delicious time capsule of what happened in 1992 and 93. And so as we're going through the episodes, we're going, oh, what happened back then? And then we're discovering more and more because we're all in our late 30s to mid-50s. I myself am born in 1981, so your music montage was my perfect year.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it was, yes.
Yeah, and we're just recapping the episodes as well as inviting people to share the stories, and also when they do their parody sketches of music bands and everything else, we actually reach out and interview to find out what their thoughts were on these sketches nearly 30 years later, and the responses are fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great idea for a podcast, and I actually subscribe to it, so it's sort of a bit of an honour to be talking to you tonight. You do a great job, like the guys who do the Hey Hey It's Saturday podcast. It is a real time capsule of people who were big at the time, events, songs that they parodied. It really sets a great nostalgic feel.
Speaking of that, I love one they did at the time. You'll recall, Matthew, they shot it at the Shrine of Remembrance, where there's a lot of Grecian columns, and they did a send-up of the song Amigos para Siempre. I'm sure you've seen that sequence. It's hilarious, And you
Yeah,
might.
that was 1992.
And have you seen one of me where I'm jumping up and down on a bed? Are you familiar with that sketch?
Of course, yes. We've already gone up to that one. In fact, the most recent one was, as I mentioned, the muckraking tour. But the previous, in fact, we've got one coming up where you are part of the muckraking special, where it's a big lampoon on the whole variety show of IMT and all that.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
can't
so you still
recall
make
that
more
one.
appearances.
Yeah.
Now,
Trust me, you're gold.
Now, Matthew, what was I going to ask? Have you got every episode? Because you mentioned that they're all bootleg copies that you've all kept by amongst yourselves. Are you missing any episodes?
Recording. No, we've got all 40. We've all collected our own. I was 10, 11, 12 at the time when the show was on. So I've managed to keep my VHS and beta copies for a long time.
Wow.
And so we just like to share those moments because they're obviously not legally available due to, as we're discovering, many questionable things, mainly due to copyright, like Beatles music tracks and stuff like that. But the Champagne Comedy Podcast, we just like to share those experiences. And we're about to just rediscover the Sydney 2000 Olympic bidding, really.
Oh, of course, yes.
Hey, Matthew, I'll make you jealous. Every Christmas Day, I spend the day with Pete Smith and Tony Martin.
Oh, Mr. Copper Art.
Yeah, Mr. Copper Art. Now, how can people join in your podcast? Tell us, please.
Simply look up Champagne Comedy Podcast on any podcast platform that you prefer and subscribe. And it is a fan-driven podcast. So we try to include people all around who have been associated with the show one way or another. In fact, we've had a Pissweek kid, Justin Addison. My apologies for the language.
That's right.
But we've had a couple of extras as well. We had Piffy the Bell Ringer from
Piffy in that red shirt.
Yeah. And we've had a few others as well, such as Greg Arnold from Things from Stone and Wood, doing looking back at the Melbourne Cliches clip as well.
Yeah, I've just run out of Melbourne Cliches. It was a great clip.
All right.
Oh, so many memories.
So, and we've got more and more coming, and we plan to do more and more with a lot of the Working Dog things, trying to do it solo, and we hope they eventually join us one day.
All right, mate. Well, be sure we're always here for you, okay?
Thank you so much, Phil and Simon. I appreciate it.
Good on you, Matthew. And so have you reached out to the Working Dog guys to see if they're interested in coming on for an episode?
Yes, I have, just quietly, but now it's out loud. But we already had Jason Stevens on board late last year, and he was amazing. Yeah. And since this year is 30 years since the original broadcast, which happened in July from 1992, we're hoping for a reunion. No pressure at all, Working Dog.
Well, good luck with it. And again, it is the Champagne Comedy Podcast. I'm a little behind with my listening. I'm up to episode 12, which came out on the 4th of February last year. But I'm slowly getting through it all. But keep up the great work, Matthew.
Thank you so much. Our first episodes are a bit rusty, but right now we're really, really shining.
Hey, and here's something you want to check out. Also from Channel 2, from ABC Television. Years and years ago, I appeared in an episode of a drama called Raw FM. Raw FM is the name of the drama. I'm in episode 4 playing a Logie host. They couldn't get Bert, so I work cheaper. But try and check that out too sometime if you've got access to that. Because
I would love
Matthew,
to. ABC, please reach out to me.
Because, Matthew, this is silver Logie material.
Yes.
Okay, mate.
It looks like a Logie.
Great talking to you, Matthew Fulton.
Good on you, Matt. Matthew Fulton from the Champagne Comedy Podcast, where they review all the episodes of The Late Show.
We'll come back with Jackson, Jeffrey, with Len, Jim, Siv, Phyllis, and your calls after this.